Hey guys, it's Tamara. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. We are going to start a brand new series this month for the month of June. We're going to be talking about phenomenons in psychology. I'm going to be mentioning things like, imposter syndrome, traumatic bonding. What's the other one I have here? I have shared psychosis I'm going to be talking about. I'm also going to be talking about pessimism and protection against further trauma. I'm also going to be bringing up topics or phenomenons such as racial battle fatigue and those kind of terms. So we're going to be focusing and zoning in on terms of psychology, and I want to define them for you. But in today's video, we're going to start off by talking about imposter syndrome. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel for those who are subscribed. And for those who are not, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button so you can stick around with us and learn and grow and build and contribute to our community here on YouTube. So the benefits for you in today's video is that you're going to learn a little bit about imposter syndrome. I'm also going to share with you a little bit of my own imposter syndrome. So let's just go ahead and jump in. So first, what is it, right? What is imposter syndrome? Well, imposter syndrome basically is an obsessive, internalized, persistent fear. It's a fear that you are a fraud. It's a fear that you're going to be found out, that nothing you do is original, that nothing you do has a foundation or a basis or a premise in your identity, that you are going to disappoint those around you. So let me give you an example of that. Let's say you're an attorney, all right, and you came from humble roots, right? Your mom was a single mom, your dad left you, you had very little food and money, you went to a very bad school. Let's say you were in a gang, you had really bad friends, you were in the wrong place at the wrong time a lot of the time as a youngster, and you grow up, you finally get a scholarship because of basketball or football, and you get into college. You play basketball or football in college, which keeps your scholarship money coming, and you decide to go into becoming a lawyer or an attorney. You then begin to work in the field. You have an internship, you begin to gain clients, then you decide to go into your own business, you open up your own practice as a lawyer, you fight for the rights of people of color, or you fight for the rights of homeless people or the mentally ill. You have a fantastic job, but one day you wake up and you begin to suffer from severe self-doubt. You begin to wonder if you really are as talented and educated as people say you are. You wonder if your clients really and truly respect you and like you. You wonder if everything that you have learned is nothing that's going to help you in other areas of your life, right? You feel that, you memorize things, and rote memorization is how you know what you know. You begin to have obsessive feelings of uncertainty. Am I really as good as people think I am? Am I really as good as I know I am? Or thought I was, right? You really do suffer from negative self-talk. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I don't think I can do this. I'm not handsome enough. I'm not quick enough. Well, that person over there has more skill than I do. You find yourself really struggling with the reality of your career. So let me give you a little bit about my imposter syndrome. Years ago, I've been in the field for 11 years now, going on 12 years. And when I first started out, I struggled a little bit with figuring out who I was. I struggled with my identity in terms of, do I really want to be a therapist or do I want to be a nurse? Do I want to be a nurse or do I want to be a psychologist? Do I want to go and get my PhD and be a researcher? Do I want to teach classes, right? I didn't quite know who I wanted to be, and I didn't quite know who I was. I was trying to figure it out in my field. I finally went to college and I majored in psychology and forensic psychology. And then I went to grad school the day after my graduation. I started my first graduate class in counseling psychology, and I zoned in my specialization on children, teens, families, and caregivers. Although I went on to have a successful career with adults as well, I specialized in working with kids. And I continue to do that even today. I have my own business, my own practice, where I see families, children, and adolescents and caregivers for trauma-based care. But when I was in grad school and I started getting internships, I got internships with really prominent businesses and agencies, really prominent research-based universities. I began to question, my expertise, and I wasn't sure if I had what it took to be a psychologist or a therapist. I really thought that everything that I was being taught had to be mimicked, and I didn't feel natural. It wasn't until maybe 5 years after I graduated from graduate school that I began to develop my own identity. Even in developing my identity, though, guys, I still struggled with, what if I'm not understanding things correctly? What if I'm going to make a big mistake? What if I destroy this person's life? What if I give them the wrong information? Even though I did a speech for over 1,000 people at a huge event, I still don't know if I gave them the right information. Or what I would do is I would give a speech, or I would be interviewed for a radio show or TV show. I would do the interview, and then I would walk away from the interview questioning if I answered all the questions correctly, questioning if I really know what I think I know. It was really starting to get, guys, pretty intensive, and pretty intense, I should say, because it almost worked. And I would have to go back to my roots of faith. I would have to go back to my confidence. I would have to go back to my mom and say, Mom, what did you see? I would have to go back to everything I learned. And then I would have to wait for the results of what I did through people who saw me, people who listened to me, to really be able to see that, okay, I'm okay. This is not what I think it is. So imposter syndrome can be really overwhelming, and a lot of people experience it in their career, but there are some people who also experience it in their lives as well. You may have imposter syndrome as a husband or a wife. Am I really as good of a husband or a wife as I think I am? Right? You might have that as far as being a parent. Am I really a good parent, or am I acting? Right? Am I acting on a stage? Am I really this good of a parent? Right? So there's a couple of things I want you to think of, and this is what you're going to experience. There's a focus. This is number one. There's a focus on external luckiness and chances, right? You may feel that I'm lucky to be a good parent, or I'm just winging it and I'm doing really good at winging it, and I'm going to keep it there. If I can just continue to wing things, I'm going to be okay. So that's one thing you might experience. You're also going to experience an obsessive need for validation. You're constantly seeking for other people and other things to validate you, to help you see that you are worth what you think you are worth. Negative attributions and negative self-talk, right? You assign negative value to things. You generalize. That situation was bad, so all the other situations I'm going to be in are also bad, right? Or negative self-talk. I know I'm not this smart, so I'm probably getting something wrong, right? Or second guessing yourself. Okay, I may have been a really good parent and went to the PTA meeting and really looked like I knew what I was talking about, but that was just chance. I'm really not that smart. The next is cognitive distortions. And what I mean by that, cognitive distortions are thinking errors. They're erroneous ways that we think and skewed ways that we perceive our reality. I say this all the time. Perception is reality. And so however you perceive things determines how you're going to act, how you're going to behave, how you're going to see things, how you're going to feel about things, because your thoughts connect to your behaviors. And your behaviors connect to your feelings, or your thoughts connect to your feelings, and your feelings connect to your behaviors. It's a triangle. They all connect: thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And so if you think of yourself negatively, right, a cognitive distortion of a situation, if you think about a situation in a skewed perception, then you're going to begin to behave in a way that's what's the word I'm looking for, guys? You're going to be able to behave. You're going to start behaving in a way that kind of proves that or confirms that. That's what I'm trying to say. And that might be giving up. That might be depression. That might be moping. That might be, confusion. It could be feeling and looking stressed. Whatever the case may be, it's going to happen if you're having negative thoughts or cognitive distortions. And so those of us who struggle with imposter syndrome, and I no longer do, thank God, I used to, we really do have to focus on our thoughts and our thought life. Okay. And last but not least, you're also going to deal with discouragement and uncertainty. It's kind of difficult to be what it is that you need to be when you're not sure you're what you say you are. And so it takes a lot of identity management and soul searching, and really actively and intentionally trying to reduce those negative self-talk and those negative thoughts. It's also going to include you being okay with not having validation and not being able to please everybody. It really is really a journey, right? Getting rid of imposter syndrome is a journey. It doesn't just happen overnight. It just doesn't. So thank you so much for being with me today in this video. I encourage you to give it a thumbs up if it was helpful to you. Let me know in the comment section below if you've experienced this, and if so, in what situations. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye-bye.